This is the most important part. This was right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest statement. Like you didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
I can't
the
believe
other
Joy
part of what he
Behar
said
didn't
was
wait.
there was something before that where he was explaining encounters with giant reptiles. And then there's also, listen.
It doesn't make sense to me that a middle-aged woman could be dumb.
When you're worried about losing your job and you're worried about podcasts taking over and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and he won, and this is fucking great, and Joe Rogan believes in dragons. It's just frantic.
Joe Rogan just hit The View with a $100 million lawsuit, and Sunny Hostin's eyebrows reportedly haven't stopped arching since. This isn't just a court case, it's a full-blown showdown with the energy of a roast battle in a judge's chamber. And Joe, he didn't bring a mic, he brought legal fire. So what lit the fuse? Let's just say The View may have gone a few sound bites too far. Now it's Joe versus daytime drama, and spoiler alert, he's not playing by the polite rules. Get your popcorn ready. This courtroom clash is just getting started, and it's shaping up to be as wild as it is unfiltered.
Apparently, Joe Rogan has the most popular podcast on Spotify, and he's repeatedly spread COVID misinformation and invited guests on to do the same.
I agree that Joe Rogan is a horror.
I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners. He's got a $100 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says, this is misinformation
Of daytime TV where the coffee's lukewarm and the facts come with a side of flair. The View, aka the place where nuance often takes a backseat to hot takes, decided to stir the pot yet again. Their target this time? Joe Rogan. You know, the guy with an audience the size of a few small nations and a very low tolerance for media drama.
Like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
We're checked by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
The human legal.
But we went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons? He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur-y type of animals, roam the earth when
Sunny Hostin, ever ready to turn a strong opinion into daytime TV gold, made a bold move, one that Joe Rogan didn't just disagree with, but reportedly saw as crossing a legal line. And just like that, his legal team had a brand new calendar alert. But Joe didn't fire back on their turf. That would have been way too predictable. Instead, he did what he does best, stepped into his studio, pulled on the headphones, leaned into the mic, and dropped a verbal bombshell that had the internet buzzing.
I had to read the thing about The View because I just thought it was funny.
What's
That's
The
the
View?
only reason why I read that about me.
Dragon lover.
The
All right, tell me
Joy
what this is.
Behar was trying to say that I believe in dragons.
Wait, what is this? I just
She
heard
said,
about
I checked it. And the lady goes, did you double check this? She goes, I checked it. He believes in dragons.
Should be like
you think they lived
Sasquatch,
alongside of
bitch.
people?
Wait,
It was from a wildlife biologist who came on my podcast. It was from Forrest Gallant.
Of daytime TV where the coffee's lukewarm and the facts come with a side of flair. The View, aka the place where nuance often takes a backseat to hot takes, decided to stir the pot yet again. Their target this time? Joe Rogan. You know, the guy with an audience the size of a few small nations and a very low tolerance for media drama.
Hey, Megan, I get it. I also hate Joy Behar. So I don't love you, but I also hate that squawking bird. So I hate the whole thing. And frankly, that show, you want to talk about a show that set women back, is The View. You want to talk about that show. If the CIA is engineering, Antifa and fucking the Capitol riot, some crazy misogynist engineered The View. Because there's nothing worse than The View. In terms of there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View. None of them have gone near the set of The View. I mean, they have brought in the lowest tier of the, what is it, the Y chromosome?
No, double
The
X.
Okay.
Double X.
They brought in the lowest of the double X's for that one. It's rough.
Yeah, did you watch the episode when Tulsi Gabbard got on to defend herself and Joy Behar starts panicking and going over her notes while Tulsi is refuting everything that she said?
Yeah, I mean, Joy Behar, like, again, these people have dementia. These are people who, like, should not be allowed out of the house. They have a national plan.
The View came after Rogan hard, and unlike their usual back and forths, this one wasn't getting tied up neatly before the next commercial break. Joe didn't just clap back, he unleashed a scorched earth monologue that tore into the show's credibility like it was built out of paper and wishful thinking. With the kind of delivery only he can pull off, Rogan shredded their commentary, mocked the outrage, and picked apart the smugness with surgical precision. As for Sonny, radio silence. Not a word since the lawsuit dropped. You could practically hear the behind-the-scenes whispers. Please don't make this worse. A rare feat considering the View's panel hasn't let a thought go unspoken since the 90s. What made Rogan's response even more cutting? He didn't shout. No audience. No applause signs. Just facts, a mic, and the kind of focus that doesn't come with a script. Instead of sparring, he dismantled their narrative like a flat-pack shelf that forgot half its pieces, and the lawsuit. Not some celebrity stunt. It's a $100 million legal swing that sends a message loud and clear. Say what you want, but be ready to stand by it. A concept The View might be grappling with now that the cameras are off.
Is that representative of a big constituency? I think probably yes.
Well, a lot of people...
MSNBC viewers are probably also thinking,
I don't even think the MSNBC viewers. I think
that's
they're a
too
little
far.
bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world. That's the appeal that Whoopi Goldberg has. Does Whoopi have children?
No idea.
It's interesting too, like really politically motivated older women who don't have children.
Yeah.
They're very specific. Like you can kind of guess the way that.
Rogan's legal team didn't just respond. They delivered a strategic strike, one move at a time, like a well-rehearsed UFC combo. Their claim? That the comments made on The View weren't just questionable, they were outright defamatory. Not opinion, not just poor phrasing, but the kind of statement that can seriously damage someone's reputation, jeopardize brand deals, and throw public perception into full-blown chaos. Now, let's be real. Rogan is no stranger to controversy. But this was different. This wasn't about disagreement. It was about crossing a legal line. And when Joe Rogan decides you've crossed that line, he doesn't just respond. He launches a full-scale digital offensive and turns your soundbite into a cautionary tale. The View? They never saw it coming. One moment they're tossing out their usual firebrand commentary, the next they're center stage in Rogan's global takedown tour. He didn't just fire back, he built a stage, packed the seats, and turned their segment into a viral warning about what happens when you aim big without checking your facts. The internet did what it always does. It ignited. Twitter blew up with memes. Sonny Hostin's name started trending under how to get sued in 5 words or less, and Reddit forums lit up like a 4th of July feed. YouTube creators, they were all over it, breaking it down, reacting live, and racking up views faster than The View can cue dramatic music when a guest says something spicy. And then, silence. No on-air rebuttals, no clarifications, just the unmistakable quiet that settles when a legal team says, "Let's not make this worse." A rare pause from a panel that's usually louder than rush hour traffic. But this wasn't just noise, it was a masterclass in how fast things flip when the mic belongs to Joe Rogan and the courtroom lights turn on.
Not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen audiences before for TV shows, but a lot of them are paid. They're paid to be there. So, because they have to guarantee that there's going to be people there. So there's services that you hire. And when a show gets really, really popular, you know, like Letterman or something like that, obviously it has its own fan base.
Right.
And those people will try to get tickets before anybody else does. And in that case, they probably don't need to use a service anymore. They just get actual fans. But arguably, like, the fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point, most of those people can't leave the house. Like, they're probably...
Right.
Sonny Hostin, normally known for her bold takes and camera-ready confidence, went uncharacteristically quiet, like a peacock forgetting how to strut. The sudden silence, it spoke volumes. And Joe Rogan wasted no time. With every new podcast drop, every subtle mention, he added fuel to the slow burn of The View's unraveling credibility. No theatrics, no exaggeration, just facts, commentary, and a well-placed spotlight. And here's the kicker. Rogan didn't just defend his name. He reminded millions why his unfiltered conversations often feel more trustworthy than the heavily scripted tone of daytime TV. The irony? Poetic. A group famous for calling others out suddenly found themselves dodging the very accountability they love to preach. Turns out, when the legal pressure flips directions, it hits different. The lawsuit also cracked open a broader debate. Where's the line between critique and defamation? At what point does commentary shift into legally murky waters? And why does it sometimes seem like The View mistakes strong opinions for legal immunity? For Rogan, the message was clear. You can't spin reality, slap a logo on it, and sell it as fact. Not when you're talking about someone whose reach goes way beyond your soundstage. And then silence. Not just any silence, the kind that feels like someone hit the mute button on a show that's never known volume control. Sunny Hostin, who usually dives headfirst into every firestorm, suddenly vanished from the narrative. No passionate rebuttal, no statement, no signature monologue packed with legal-sounding fury, just stillness. It was like watching a fire alarm unhook itself and quietly walk away while the building kept smoldering behind it.
Did you see Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons, I guess? According to Joy Behar, he changed his X profile. Did you see this?
I did see that.
It now just simply says dragon believer. He had talked about dragons on the show. The thing of it is, you take anything out of context and you can make fun of it and mock it. And so, let's do that. It goes without saying, Joe Rogan, how many times more intelligent do you think Joe Rogan is than Joy Behar? What? Infinite. Multiple?
Infinite.
6 times, 8 times, 12 times, 30. It's like a math problem you can't solve. You could fit 35 of Joy Behar's brains into Joe Rogan's cranium and he would lose IQ points. But people believe dumb.
Let's be real. When The View goes quiet after being hit with a $100 million lawsuit, it's not some genius PR strategy. It's what you call a tactical retreat. They've gone full mime mode while Joe Rogan's out here with a metaphorical megaphone and a flamethrower, lighting up their reputation in real time. Picture this. One side brings a sword to the fight. The other side's already dug their own oops grave. And the silence? Oh, it's doing them no favors. Every day they don't respond, Rogan's takedown just gets louder. Podcast clips go viral, memes multiply like gremlins, and his legal filing is being shared online like it's the new leaked Drake album. If Rogan had released this whole thing as a Netflix special, it'd be trending by now. Top 10, easy. Meanwhile, Sunny Hostin, usually the queen of cutting commentary, is nowhere to be found. Word is, ABC's legal team might have her on vocal lockdown, locked in a room with nothing but Oprah reruns and a white noise machine. Because when a lawsuit that massive drops, you don't clap back, you lawyer up and hope the Wi-Fi cuts out before it trends on TikTok. And as Rogan's critique keeps spreading like a gender reveal wildfire in the California heat, The View's brand is starting to buckle under the weight of its own formula. Suddenly, as bold conversation, but as a real-time Twitter thread with studio lighting, moderated by your aunt who thinks healing crystals are a personality trait.
In fairness, though, I mean, The View has to be, if you average out The View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin.
You think it's
dumb.
deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb, but Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked, and you went on stage with it, and it's nothing.
Let's talk scale, because numbers don't lie. Joe Rogan's podcast doesn't just reach people, it practically sets up shop in their minds. With 11 million listeners per episode, that's not a podcast. It's a full-blown digital empire. Compare that to The View, where the vibe is more like yelling across a food court and hoping someone besides the janitor looks up. It's like putting a SpaceX rocket next to a science fair volcano made of baking soda and dashed hopes. Legacy media, perfectly represented by The View, is stuck in the past, running on studio applause, surface-level sound bites, and attention spans that expire faster than a TikTok trend. They're still operating like it's 2006 TV and no one had the means to Google check you mid-sentence. Meanwhile, Rogan's dropping multi-hour, no-holds-barred interviews with everyone from brain surgeons to UFO hunters, and still making more sense than anything happening around that marble coffee table of chaos. This lawsuit, it's not just about a bruised ego, it's a power play, a culture-shifting mic drop. Rogan didn't just clap back, he planted a flag right on mainstream media's forehead with a message. Your time's up. And yes, I brought the receipts. And if you think that was it, buckle up. Because he followed it with a 3-hour podcast episode breaking everything down, point by point, no teleprompter, no filter. People are tired of rapid-fire outrage dressed up as commentary. They want depth, clarity, and maybe a little chaos that doesn't feel like it came from a group therapy session hosted by your aunt's book club. And that right there is where Rogan leaves The View in the dust.
Show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, it's interesting because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
That's sort of, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, who are just very dull-minded. But I think Sunny's not one of them. I think she's smart, but captured.
Sure, I think she came into it with an agenda.
Of course. They do everything with an agenda.
Yeah.
This whole showdown, it's way more than just a lawsuit. It's a cultural fist bump to anyone who's ever rolled their eyes at The View pretending to speak for all women, all progressives, or anyone who's made it through a book without skipping chapters. Rogan didn't just respond, he delivered a masterclass in media pushback. First came the legal filing, then the podcast rebuttal, and finally, silence, but not from him. Because The View? They folded faster than a lawn chair in a wind tunnel. And the best part? They couldn't even spin it. No let's grow from this moment. No commercial break return with Sunny under soft lighting delivering a heartfelt monologue. Just pure, awkward silence, the kind that whispers, we may have messed up and we're trying not to make it worse. Meanwhile, Rogan's off in his studio, sipping mushroom tea and interviewing a guy who once lived off-grid with goats, while casually dropping legal haymakers. This isn't just a clash of personalities, it's a full-blown evolution. While The View tries to remember how remotes work, Rogan's rewriting the rules of engagement in real time. And let's be honest, this isn't a fair matchup. Rogan's podcast is a global force, an audience powerhouse. The View. It's essentially a televised group chat where logic occasionally takes the afternoon off. Comparing the two is like putting a Tesla up against a tricycle with one wheel wobbling off. Unless The View is planning to rebrand as The Apology, this might go down as their most viral segment. Ironically, the one they never even aired.
This is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested hen house.
And Rogan's podcast followers, they didn't just back him, they weaponized the internet in his favor. Comments, clips, montages, digital justice served hot and fast. The View might dominate the morning time slot, but Rogan owns the algorithm. Through it all, he never sat across from them, never stepped onto their set, never gave them the dignity of a direct confrontation. That's what made it so brutal. He dismantled them from afar like a sniper armed with a podcast mic. This isn't just about Sunny Hostin saying something off, it's about accountability. So what now? The lawsuit will run its course. Maybe there'll be a settlement. Maybe it'll drag into a courtroom showdown, complete with dramatic music and potted plants. But one thing's clear, Rogan already won the culture war. He didn't just sue them, he embarrassed them. Not with bluster, but with precision. Not with drama, but with undeniable logic, wrapped in a tank top and dripping with sarcasm. And in doing so, he reminded every media mouthpiece with a camera and a caffeine habit. Words have weight, and some words, they cost $100 million.
Have any trans women on it?
Great point. It has a lot of women that look trans, but none of them. It has a lot of second and third takes. After a drink, you go, huh? But it doesn't have a ton of.
But hey, maybe Sunny can still turn it around. Maybe next week she'll kick off the show with a hot take on astrophysics, or claim gravity is just another right-wing conspiracy. Who knows? The View thrives on reinvention after all. Until then, she might want to read the fine print on her next monologue, especially the part where the legal team says, maybe don't poke the bear with a golden microphone and a Spotify contract. And Joe? He'll keep doing what he does best, talking, questioning, laughing, and occasionally vaporizing people with the intellectual equivalent of a verbal orbital strike. All from his podcast chair, no key cards, no